Hello, hello. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, or afternoon, whatever it may be. Wow, crazy. What a sell-off, man. Holy cow. Let's get to charting this really quick. We may have some setups here. Marking some of these lows, and looks like we're right at some right now. Zoom in on this guy. Alright, so I got this low marked out. I have a little ways till that one. And this other one I have marked right here isn't technically a low of day, but price clearly bounced away from that area. So yeah, that is right where we're at. This may be a spot where we bounce. Let's also mark out yesterday's closing price, and then we will get to the channel itself. And we may have a shorting opportunity. All right, there's yesterday's closing price. How's everyone doing today? I like we got a lot of activity in the chat so far. I love it. Morning, Shaq. Freedom, it's good to see you. Sorry about those PA accounts. Hey, John. Hey, Jesse. AOD, good morning. Spartan, our French ambassador. What's going on? Jonathan, good morning. Hey, Bill. How's it going? Good morning. Good to see you. Squid. Martin. Hello, everybody. Hey, Tom. Alright, so anywho, let's get to this channel here. Pretty obvious first move down. And then we may have a secondary channel. That's kind of what it looks like. Something like that. I think that's worth a shot, worth checking out. But you will notice, I'm going to point something out here in just a second. You will notice there's quite a bit of room here at the bottom. So we definitely need to fill in that area. for this to be valid. Maybe you can do one wide channel like this. I don't know. I think this probably looks the best to me, but we'll see. We'll see. We don't have an immediate setup, and I will show you why. If we are playing this channel, we want to catch this move at the end of the pullback. So you want to wait for the pullback and then catch the move here. This is where you want to enter short, somewhere around this area. You do not want to wait until you have nearly made a new low. That is not the right time to short. We want to short on the corrections, not on the pushes. So this was our opportunity to get short somewhere around here. And as far as an actual setup goes, this would be a first entry short, second entry short, and then this would be a lower high confirmation. So I really like that trade. Very strong context with the sell-off. So you can kind of, this big bar doesn't phase you as much when you're in this strong of a sell-off. Just make sure you're getting at least 1-to-1. Well, at least that's for me. That's my style. I want at least 1-to-1, and that gets us there before the low. So that would be the trade I would take. And then back on this other swing. Don't really see a setup. Bars didn't quite set up right. You did have a first entry, second entry right there, but you're below, going short below a green bar. And then you don't have any lower highs until this, but it's not even touching the EMA. So yeah, I don't see a setup here, but you could have taken this guy. Tom, I don't know that there was any news last night. If anyone else knows of any overnight news that may have triggered this, definitely please share. But no, I mean, in general, let's go to the daily chart real quick. In general, we're pretty set for a pullback. Here's the daily chart. We've been going up for a long time, and you'll notice we've had a couple days like this. So for instance, back here we're moving up. You'll see a big red candles every once in a while in this uptrend. It's just part of it. You can't keep going up forever. So, you know, when you zoom out, it doesn't actually look like that crazy of an uptrend. Really just a standard pullback in the middle of the trend. We could easily just keep going up from here. So, yeah, I wouldn't, don't start getting crazy with like Armageddon, you know, market crash kind of stuff. Pullbacks like this are normal. Oh, that's right, Jesse. It was the news that did come out. I forgot about this. Was that Canadian tuxedo sales are down due to the hot weather. So, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense for sure. Good morning, Jeff. I don't know if I said what's up, but good to see you. Yen intervention by Japan. They rock the currency market. Okay. Maybe that has something to do with it. But the main thing, guys, is that it doesn't really matter. It does not really matter why we're going down. We're just going down. That's all you need to know. We don't really need to know the why of it. It doesn't help our trades any. All right. Flipping over to the Nasdaq. pretty much an identical pattern. The Nasdaq has been relatively weak to the S&P 500 for quite a bit now. Tech struggling. That's another thing, guys, that has been signaling a potential drop for a while, is that all the Magnificent Seven, all the biggest companies in the S&P 500 have been lagging. They have not been going up as high with the market. So when all your major companies are starting to drop, the market will eventually drop. And we've been noticing that for quite a while. So all right, so anywho, we got this channel on the Nas. And kind of hard to draw a secondary channel here. It doesn't really look as clear cut as the S&P. This is more of a just in case channel, but we'll still throw it on the chart. Still could help us. I'm just not going to trust it with my life, you know what I mean? But as far as setups go, you know, obviously you're looking for a short on this pullback here. You do have several entries. It's kind of chopping around. I don't really like this second entry short here, just because this looks like one leg up and we're not even touching the EMA. So I may honestly have entered on this bar, which would have been a loser. Best to wait for 2 legs anyway. This is barely 2 legs, but that's a pretty decent bar. I probably would have entered there, took the loss, but then you re-enter on this one for sure. If you take the loss here, that's a big bearish bar right as the bulls start to get something going, and that definitely has the visual look of 2 legs. Nice bearish bar at the EMA. Re-enter there, make back that loss, no big deal, and then some actually. Because I'd be trading once it gets to the low. I'll be trailing over each bar, so would take that all the way till there. So 57 points on the other one, would have lost 17 points. So you can see, still would end up massively green. And then over here, you can still be looking for a short. Here's 2 legs back. This didn't close below the EMA, can't take it. Then you get this nice bar right here. Take that one right there. And don't know if it will be a winner yet. It hasn't made it all the way to the bottom, but yeah, I would be targeting a new low on this one. Oh, targeting down here. Morning, Neil. All right, well, we are 4 minutes away from the market open, and we already have a lot going on. Oh, I forgot to mark our levels on the Nasdaq. Let's see if there's any major lows down in this vicinity. Might need to go to the daily chart. As you can see, we are right around this previous high. So there's been a lot of turning down from this area. Was resistance, may become support. Let's throw this low on there. Doesn't look like that's actually, that was an overnight low, but we'll mark the correct low there, which we're coming up to. We also need to mark yesterday's closing price for our gap. Yeah, Shayak, that's a very good point. We do not want to be shorting here. Market's about to open. We could get a pretty big spike up. Yeah, this, if you enter short right now, that's going to be a FOMO trade. Don't do it. Wait for the market to open, and we'll see very soon what's going on. If the market keeps going down, okay, then we have more confirmation to short. But right now, we got to wait it out. And while you wait, go ahead and click that thumbs up button. Feed the YouTube robots this morning. They need their breakfast. Supports the channel. I would appreciate it. All that. So you're not doing anything better with your time. You know what I mean? Diago, what's going on? Good morning. Okay, there's the market open. Let's see what we got. Immediately green candle going on the S&P, while the Nasdaq puts in another red candle. So that's illustrating yet again this divergence that we've seen between the two. Morning, Daryl. And your other brother, Daryl. Yeah, so this is a pretty legitimate bounce here. So we want to monitor this correction by the S&P, and as I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of room at the bottom of the range, or at the bottom of the channel. That's not a good sign for continuation. When this happens, that could signify the start of a move in the opposite direction. The Nasdaq looks more favorable, as I was mentioning, as not going up with the same power that the S&P is. So I do like a short on the Nasdaq if it sets up. So far we have one entry, meaning one time that the market went lower than the previous bar. And I would like another pullback, but it looks like we might already make a new low here. Look how weak this is. Compare this to what's happening on the ES. Bounce here, drop here. So easily that weakness can be easily seen. Freedom, I hope you're not trying to buy. No, unless you mean a flag to the downside, but yeah, we are not looking to buy at all. Wilson's buying. Best of luck to you, my friend. So we do want to keep track of our short-term trends. This possibly could be played out, or we could be getting a secondary channel here. The Nasdaq is still weak. Really just not doing much as the S&P bounces. There's a potential second entry short on the Nasdaq. It's just hard to take with the S&P still bouncing. But if we get a lower high, I'd be interested in that. I guess it didn't close below the EMA either. So I'll be watching for that, looking for a lower high on the NAS. On the S&P, I want to see a solid push below the EMA and a failed second entry long. That would get me short here. And there's the Nasdaq lower high, but closed way too low. That's the setup I was looking for. Second entry short, lower high confirmation, but it needed to close up here somewhere to get the right risk to reward. Not going to take it way down here, right into the low. Bad news. Hey Martin, all those kind of all that kind of info is in the description of the stream, but it is the 21 EMA. Oh, I remember that movie, Toad. Yeah, didn't they do a remake somewhat recently? Maybe it wasn't that recently. So what happens when you get a little older, you're like, oh man, what's that new movie that came out? Oh, that was 20 years ago? My bad. S&P on this pullback. Tempting to go short. We haven't really got the setup for it yet, though. Letting the S&P do its thing. We still could get a bounce, so I'm not interested in shorting just yet. This technically would be our failed second entry long. I'm not completely convinced in a short just yet. But it's not a bad trade to take. Very weak overnight action. You have a pullback. This is your first attempt to go higher. Another pullback. Second attempt to go higher. It fails with a bearish bar. You take that 1-to-1, and I think it already... You'd be out. No, not yet. You'd still be holding this. Yeah, I still think that's a pretty decent setup. But yes, Toad still could make a new high of that small uptrend. So that'd be one reason I would hold off on it. My analysis is mo better. Okay. Pretty good looking downtrend. And of course, we already know that we're bearish. So we're hoping for a short. If we can get a pullback and a second entry, I'll take it here. Oh, you know what? I need to reload my chart too. I haven't done that yet. Especially on these kind of days where the market is pumping, you got to make sure your data is good. $50 people in here almost, and only 19 likes. I think we can do better than that, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I mean, if you don't like the stream, totally fine. Don't do anything. But if you do appreciate the content, you know, enough for a virtual little thumbs up, it's right there. It's right there. I would appreciate it. Thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate that. There you go, Jeff. Hey, happy to help you get that out. You know, it's important to get those feelings out. Forgot to post the Apex sale in the chat. Still a good one going on. I would say maybe their best one actually that they've ever done. Up to 93% off if you are getting the either 150, 200, or 300k accounts. They're only $40 a piece, so that ends up being 93% off a regular price for some of those. 1 day to pass, discounted activation fee if you do pass. Super good deal. Links for you there if you're interested. S&P is now bouncing up here. And as I said earlier, we might get, and Toad pointed out, we might get a new high of this uptrend, right? You have to move up, break. Oftentimes that can get a new high, even if you do ultimately end up going down. So we might be headed for that. And meanwhile, the Nasdaq's still weak as all get out. So really interested in a short. I was really hoping to catch one right here. It just closed super low. So I would have had to have my target way below what was the low at the time. I don't like doing that. Maybe I could do it on a day like today where things are just falling apart, but yeah, the S&P is not participating either, so I would for sure take that risk if the S&P was also going down in the same fashion, but it's not. We have a little bit of a divergence. You got to be somewhat cautious there. Also, everyone who's here this morning, make sure you head over to the Discord and enter the giveaway. I'm running another one of those. Giving away 7. There's going to be 7 winners. 7 winners. And only 24 people have entered, so some pretty dang good odds so far. Giving away a free month of membership over there, so if you are at all interested in the possibility of joining the Discord, great time to probably win and test it out for a month. That makes odds like 87.5. Nice. That's some quick math there, Jesse. You had your calculator ready. But yeah, here the link to the Discord is in the video description. And then you go to the giveaways channel, but I'll post it in the chat too, because I know doing that is a lot of work, searching for the right link. Here it is. All right. Meanwhile, the Nasdaq has made a first attempt lower right here. Coming back on a second pullback. If we get a bearish bar right around here, I'm gonna have to take it. Win or lose, I will have to take it. I need this bar to tick higher. Then turn down bearish. If it's an inside bar, I'm not gonna do it. Did not tick higher on that bear bar, so can't take it. Come on, maybe on this next bar. Just need to draw in a few more bulls and then slam the door on them. Okay, here we go. Let's check it out. Come on, tick higher. No, no, no. Don't drop yet. Don't do it. No, no, no. Oh, man. Looks like it's going to go down without us. So close, I know, Jesse. It really, really was. Perfect context for a trade there. Very clear downtrend. We're just waiting on pullbacks. We want to see 2 entries or 2 attempts. There's one. We never actually got a second pullback. Look at all the highs of these bars. None of them ever went higher than the previous bar. So this is really, technically, just one attempt lower. One move down. Very hard to enter that. S&P is continuing higher. It does look like it is going to get that new high of this uptrend. But I would not even be looking for a long entry in here. Way too weak of a market. And still not time to short because this is some pretty strong action. But now that this uptrend has a new high, this is when we can hopefully start getting the setup for a short. We need to see the market push below the EMA and give us a failed second entry long or a second entry short. But that is something we want to allow the market to confirm. We don't want to anticipate it because we could just go up and fill the entire gap right now. You never know. Don't anticipate, confirm. That's the name of the game. Yeah, look at our gap. We have an insane 45 points on the S&P. It's going to be several hundred on the Nasdaq, I'm sure. Almost 400 on the Nasdaq. Making higher lows on the Nas, not a great sign for our short anymore. So we need to be a little bit cautious here. If we get a bar that turns down really sharply, I still might consider it. Did not close below the EMA on that one. If we get a failed second entry long, I'll take it on the Nasdaq. And this lower high may be enough. Maybe enough for us, but with the S&P still climbing, I'm not willing to risk it. If you did though, not a bad trade at all. A lot of things going for it. Just personally didn't want to take a chance on that. All right, one more lower high and I'll definitely be in on this. Let's see if we've ticked higher already. Nope. Double top, no tick higher. Doesn't look like we're going to get a bearish close on that bar, so got to skip it. All right, let's see this bar turn down. Kind of like the setup on the S&P too, actually. All right, let's see that move down, baby. Let's go. I took it on the S&P too. Like the potential, like the potential. Whoa. Big bar. Gotta be cautious on this one. Holy cow. We're gonna lock in some gains here. I'm still in on the S&P too. Just trailing every bar. If this goes parabolic, I'll be in it. But otherwise, guaranteeing some money here. Sweet, man. I like this drop. I like it, I like it. Hard to keep up. I'm trying to trade both at the same time. Oh, man, oh man. Alright, I'm out on the ES. I took like, I don't know, 8 points or something. I wasn't even able to really look at it. Alright, out on the Nasdaq too. Woo! Sweet, what a trade. And, you know, this is a day where it might keep going. So you can play it different too. You can take a little bit more of a wide approach. Maybe keep your stop loss at break even, and you know, this could actually continue even farther all day. So that would be an option for you. Or if you're playing with runners, you know, leave a runner on. But I'll take my money and run today, especially with the divergence. S&P hasn't even made a new low yet, but I caught that failed second entry long right around the same time I entered that Nasdaq trade. Took it from here to here, so that was almost 6 points. And my trade copier worked. Man, oh man, sometimes I get in those big trades and I look up, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm only in on 2 of my accounts or something, but it's not the case on this one. Got it copied to everything. Praise the trade copier, exactly, Toad. Cool, well, I hope some of you guys caught that. I mean, that was absolutely perfect. Nothing wrong with that trade at all. We're in a downtrend. We're looking for a short. Visually, we have 2 legs back. That's great. We get a lower high. Could have entered right here, but to be conservative, I waited for one more confirmation, and there it is. Tick higher, moved lower, closed on its low. Gotta take that short. And on the S&P, you know, not quite as clear cut, but you do have this downtrend. So you're short bias for sure, especially with the Nasdaq weakness. And then we let this uptrend play out. It had 2 solid legs. I would venture to say that's probably a measured move. Very close. But either way, 2 solid legs up. And then you have a failed second entry long. Market tries to go higher once, tries to go higher twice, and then you have a solidly bearish bar right here, closing below the EMA. That's a great trade. You got to take that. That's good, Jesse. Hey, it is better to take less risk and feel good mentally. So yeah, don't regret that decision. That's a good decision. Looks bad in hindsight, right? You're like, man, I wish I had more contracts. But imagine if you didn't and you ended up a loser. Yeah, you would have felt even worse mentally. So good on you for taking one contract, having less risk. Always a good way to go. So if I was trading this on the Nasdaq in more of a loose way, hoping for a bigger move, I still would not have moved my stop yet. So enter here, and well, maybe I'd move my stop to break even. Stop's originally here. Probably by this time I'd move it to break even, and then I'm waiting for a swing. So I'm waiting for something like this, and then I would move my stop. So far, would not move my stop, but on that move, now that it's moving down, that's when you'd move your stop right here, which is about where I took profit on the trade anyway. So that's how you play it if you're trying for a wider move. And then the next time you make a swing high, you just move it down. So wait for something like this, wait for it to come down, and then you'd move your stop right here. S&P looks like it is gearing up for a new low. Oh shoot, I don't know why I didn't hold till the new low on the S&P. That's, man, spaced it. That should have been my target. That's too busy managing 2 trades at the same time. But otherwise, I should have waited till here. Now I would start trailing my stop above that bar. Yeah, stop would be right here right now. We're at the bottom of the jolt spike. Good to know, Jesse. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Freedom. Freedom is funded. Nice, man. Now, here's what I would advise to you, my dear friend. Take the rest of the day off. Don't try to trade anymore. You're funded. You hit it. Close it down for the day. There's no more work to be done. Now you gotta chill. Yep. Slow and steady. Whatever your contract size that you have been trading with, do a fraction of that. I hope you haven't been trading with a bunch of contracts, but let's say you've been trading with 4. When you now on your funded accounts, do just 1. Or even better, do some micros instead. That's what I would advise. You know, hey, I'm just a random dude on the internet, but I've seen a thing or two. This move on the S&P is just beautiful. And love that it's confirming our analysis of the day. Spike down, secondary channel. We had a break here. We're expecting a new low. There's the new low. So price action playing out absolutely beautifully. Anita, yeah, I'd be happy to walk through the trade. So there was 2, one on the S&P, one on the Nasdaq. The S&P one, again, looking at this downtrend, wanting a short. This whole time we're going up, I am not interested in a long. I'm just waiting for this bullish correction to play out and for a short to set up. So zooming in. This would be one option to take this here, this failed second entry long. It's also a second entry short, I guess. So first entry, second entry. That'd be one option, to take this right here, but you still have this uptrend that needs a new high. Uptrend has a break. This still could get a new high, so that may not be the best time to do it. Wait for the market to show you more, and now you have a new high. Now this uptrend has a break, new high. It is played out. Market moves in 2s. This is 2 moves to the upside, so now at this point, we go, okay, now we can resume the short bias. So we're looking for a setup. Best setup being a failed second entry long. So we had a pullback. First entry, first time that bulls tried to take the market higher. Another little pullback because we went lower there. And then another attempt to go higher. You can see this ticked higher. You know that longs are going to enter over that big bullish bar. That's really enticing for longs. And here they all got filled. And then boom, the door slammed on them. Big bearish bar. That is where you want to go short, below that bar. And however, and then up to you, it's up to you how you manage the trade. Some people like to take a set amount, like maybe 2 points, something like that, 1.5 points. I like to target the swing low. So either target this swing low here, or even better in my opinion is to target this low, because you're very likely to go down there. So this should have been my target. I got out, where did I get out? Right here, I believe. Which is not a bad place to get out. It's right on that swing low. You could have a bounce here, so maybe that wasn't the worst decision in the world. But anyway, so that's the trade. B is asking, if I qualify a canceled Apex account before the end of its subscription, does it still qualify to get funded? Yes. So like if you, yes, if you have an account and it's going to be canceled in a month, and you're, wait, actually I don't know how that works, because once you cancel it, doesn't it immediately go away? Or are you saying you canceled it and it's still allowing you the rest of the month to trade? TDL is asking, do I use one trade copier or do you have more than one? You only need one trade copier. It would not make sense to use more than one trade copier. I have used different trade copiers, but you only need one at a time, because with one trade copier you can trade infinity accounts. So yeah, I use Replicanto. I have used the Apex trade copier. It had a lot of issues for me, and then I found out it is just a white labeled version of the Replicanto. I guess maybe Apex is doing their own thing now. I think they may have finally developed their own code, but for a long time it was just Replicano white labeled and it never got updated or anything. So yeah, now I switched to Replicano. They update it all the time. I've never had any issues with it. I really like it. And I do have an affiliate link if you want to support the channel. It gives you a 20% discount as well. I believe that's in the description, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, Jules, thank you for that clarification. If you do cancel account, you have to the end of the subscription to trade it. And then yes, the answer would be if you pass your eval, even if you are planning for it to end at the subscription period, if you pass it while it is still active, you do get a funded account. So hopefully that's the case for you. Congrats. Guys, I just realized I've not taken my vitamins yet or really drank much water, so we got to get on that. Needed the vitamins before that trade, but oh well, we'll take them now. Oh, so the market is slowing down a little bit. This is pretty typical. After a big move down, you will see a period of price acceptance, consolidation, whatever you want to call it. And on the S&P, our downtrend has played out. We had this move down, break new low. So this is exactly when you would expect a correction or reversal, and look exactly what's happening. Love that. I love when price does exactly what we expect. That is great. Over on the Nasdaq, we're at the bottom of the channel, so we would also expect a correction. So I'm not really interested in selling anymore on the Nasdaq. Still valid, like this channel's still valid. Maybe a little overshoot here, but I want to give the market a chance to really correct. We could see a deeper pullback at this time, given the fact that we have not really had any pullbacks on the Nasdaq. I mean, these were very small little attempts to go higher that all got sold, and then you have this big sell-off. So this is when you can see a bigger pullback. So we're gonna wait for that to happen. Still short bias, not changing biases, especially on NQ. Very, very weak. So yeah, we are looking for an excuse to go short here. This would be, you know, this would be a riskier entry here, but it would be an entry. You have 2 legs up, visual second entry short, bear bar. We're above the EMA, and again, we're waiting for a bigger correction. So this would be aggressive for sure, but that's one of those that, hey, you might be catching the very top of this move. The better bet is to wait for it to come, maybe even test the top of the channel, and then give a failed second entry long, which is our same setup that we traded over here. On the S&P, still a vertical move up here. We might even consider a larger channel as our downtrend played out, and the bulls can have a chance to get the market bouncing for a little bit. Oh, Jesse, nice. I didn't even notice that. 45 likes and 45 people watching. Heck yeah. Now it's 47 and only 46 likes, but what are you going to do? All right. Where was I? Vitamins. Let me know if my camera's frozen, guys. My computer just wigged out for a second. Alright, cool. Doesn't look like I'm frozen. JP. It's not a time-based chart, it's a tick chart. The 2000 tick chart on the S&P and 1500 tick chart on the Nasdaq. All of that info, I believe, is in the description too. All right, so here we're getting another drop on the S&P. The potential start of a drop, I should say. Over on the Nasdaq, starting to make higher lows and higher highs. So good time to just sit back and watch for a little bit, let it develop until it is obvious that we are headed back in the short direction. Still watching for an entry here. If we get a lower high on the Nasdaq, I'd be interested in entering again. Diego, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Glad to have you around. Yeah, I don't like that bull bar. EMA is starting to show signs of support. Same on the S&P. EMA is holding right here, so we are holding. Yeah, all the blue chip stocks, just, man, no bueno. Oh shoot, there was our entry on the Nasdaq and I was not watching. Hopefully some of you guys caught this. Failed second entry long. Dang it. That would have been nice to get another one. So again, we're looking short. Our uptrend has two legs up, and then we have a pullback first attempt higher, pullback second attempt higher, bearish bar. That's a pretty solid setup, especially if you're just going for a scalp. This has already gone, what, let's see. It's already gone 12, 13 points. I know a lot of Nasdaq traders scalp out for like 10 or something, so you're easily filled. Or you go for a new low. I think that is pretty likely as well. But I also don't mind sitting on the sidelines after I've had two really good trades. Yeah, no sense in putting my capital at more risk unless it looks really, really good. And I wouldn't say this is A++ setup. You know, we're kind of consolidating. EMA is holding a bit. This would be a bit more of aggressive entry. So for that reason, not too bummed I didn't take it. Yo, 50 viewers and 50 likes. That is freaking awesome. Thanks guys for the support. S&P looks like it wants to bounce again. And again, after a big move down like that, the market may enter a different cycle where it is just kind of ranging more or less. Yo, 53 viewers and 53 likes, guys. That's amazing. That's amazing. I really appreciate everyone coming in here and liking the stream. That's what we're shooting for. We're shooting for 100% win rate on the likes. I want to make sure that everyone's that is hanging out likes what they're hanging out with, you know? Again, for those of you who weren't around earlier, make sure that you go to the Discord and enter the giveaway. The link to the Discord, it's free to join. You can enter those giveaways. I do them quite often. Right now, 7 people are going to win a free month of membership. Got really good chances right now. Not a lot of people have entered, so make sure you do that. So yeah, after that move down, very possible that we can set up in this kind of range here for quite a ways, and we may continue down after that. But oftentimes the market needs a little breather. We can probably eliminate some of these lines to clean up the chart a little bit. Yeah, we're basically just hanging out right at the lows from, what is this, Thursday and Wednesday. Kind of between the two. Interesting that we bounced right at Wednesday's low, which is pretty much the last low before there's just, you know, nothing below. So let's take a look at the daily chart to show you what I'm talking about. Hard to see because this is not a chart of SPY. But yeah, basically underneath this area, there's just not much. Not much. We could easily come down to those highs right there. Kind of the next area. Our probabilities on the Nasdaq are growing lower. We have a bit of a wedge forming, not a very high probability pattern. So good time to sit on those hands, go take a walk, make some breakfast or lunch, whatever the case may be. And on the S&P, we're waiting to see what happens here. We had this move up. So far, nothing has come of it. We have a pullback, but this could be where we bounce and get a new high of this uptrend. That would make a lot of sense from a price action perspective. A nice cold glass of grape kombucha. Oof. That is something I've never tried. I would not put grape and kombucha together, but hey, don't knock it till you tried it, right? Maybe I'll give that a shot. Matt, thank you, thank you. Thiago, appreciate it, appreciate it. Glad to have you on board. Mike Z, what's up, man? Did I trade today? Yeah, I did. Took a short on the Nasdaq and the S&P 500 right around here. Got out. Where did I get out? More around here, I think. Or here, I can't remember. Somewhere. I think it was here. So 30, 40 points on the Nasdaq. I had like almost 6 points on the ES. So this is one of the rhythms of trading that you have to get used to. I think a lot of newbie traders come in and they're like expecting action all the time. And this morning has been a lot of action, but this is not typical. So most of the time trading is spent waiting. Actually, that'd probably make a good video, like an accurate life. An accurate day in the life of a day trader, instead of all the furus and stuff. They're like, yeah, traded this morning, now I'm headed to the Ferrari dealership to get a new car. No, it's more like, yeah, I've been sitting here for 3 hours and nothing's really setting up yet, but we could have something potentially in the next 20 minutes. Twiddling thumbs, you know, reading books, reorganizing the office. Sorry, AOD. Came here for the Lambo life. I'm sorry to disappoint. Sorry to disappoint. Not my style. Even if I had all the money in the world, I don't think I'd be getting a Lambo. I drive a 2015 Toyota Tacoma, and that's my favorite truck, and I will never sell it. I'll put money into that. I'll soup it up a little bit, but that's it. That's it. Ferrari Friday. Pontiac Sunfire GT lifestyle. I love it. Yeah, the people that want action don't survive. They really don't, because you end up over trading. You end up taking stuff that's doesn't have any edge in the market. So yeah, if you find yourself taking a lot of trades and you're still not consistently profitable, there's your sign. The Geo Metro lifestyle. Oh man, there was always that one friend in high school that had the Geo Metro. He probably smoked cigarettes, was in a band. Couple of 10-inch subs wired in the back. Absolutely, that whole thing's rattling. Yeah, the Nasdaq is slowly creeping up for sure. Putting in higher lows, higher highs. And now we do have an official break of our channel. So likely scenario is that we do end up coming down and at least making an attempt at that low. But the Nasdaq is getting some relative strength. Check over here. This is the S&P. While the Nasdaq has been making higher highs and higher lows, the S&P the opposite. Lower highs, lower lows. Very interesting. A little flip-flop going down. Still interested in a short, especially on the Nasdaq though, even though it's relatively strong, that can change in an instant. And I would be wanting, again, a failed second entry long, trapping people who are trying to trade this break of the channel to the upside. And it may work, but we will know if it doesn't work if this pattern plays out. If we get a move below the EMA, one attempt higher, one more attempt higher. If we get that pattern, we're going to know that this breakout is not legit. This could keep going up, absolutely, but that will be our sign that nope, we do have more work to the downside. But you keep getting these big wicks. That's a sign that we're going to keep going higher. Watch for this swing high to be cleared. And if it is, even pause more on looking for shorts. The S&P does have a chance to bounce up. We had this uptrend that needs a new high. Downtrend played out with a break and a new low. We're basically just chopping around in a range. Nothing tradable here for me. This is no go. And then on the Nasdaq, we did make that new high. See? Broke that new high, so not super interested in a short when we keep making higher highs. See ya, Matt. Take care. Good time to take a break. All right, continuing to make higher highs here. So, as I mentioned earlier, this is what happens on these big trends. You have bigger pullbacks. Look at all this movement to the downside. Of course you're going to have a big pullback with that, right? And you could even go like this. You could even have a pullback like that all the way back up to this level, and it's still going to be bearish. So keep that in mind. When you see these kind of moves up, your thought should not be, oh man, this is starting to look good, we're bouncing, we're getting bullish, maybe we should start thinking about longs. Don't think like that. Zoom out, look where we've been today. This is just a correction. Could we keep going up from here? Could we establish, a bullish trend for the rest of the day? Of course we could. But what's most likely? Because that's the number one question for you as a trader, is what is the most likely scenario? That's all we can deal with. We don't know what is going to happen with certainty, but we can, through studying what has happened, patterns repeat themselves over and over again, and we can start to get some insight in what is most likely going to happen. And most likely here is that we eventually come down and test that low. Later, Freedom. Taking the rest of the week off, eh? Birda, ooh, there's a good one. There's a good one. Four on, four off. Okay. I actually would really like that schedule. 4 on, 4 off. It's nice to have 4 days of work in a row. Not that bad. And then you get 4 days off. Heck yeah. Do that any day. Alright, so now we're starting to get a move down. So this is beginning to look good for us as shorts. We needed to see this uptrend breaking. All these higher lows, we needed to see some lower lows, and look, boom, 3-4 bear bars stacked, broke that low. Now we can start looking for a short. So look for 2 legs of correction, bearish bar, and we're going to be in a short towards the low of the day. Kind of hard to get a setup here on the S&P because we're just coming out of a range, not as clean. But you know, if we can come down and retest this breakout area with a second entry short, I do like it. We just want to make sure we have plenty of room between our entry and the low of the day. Very much a vertical move here on the Nasdaq, and there is essentially no way you can possibly enter this. You have no idea that this is going to be the candle where it drops. Yes, it's a great looking bearish candle, but look, you had a good looking one here. You know, you had a good looking one here. Yeah, you just never know when things are going to turn around. If you don't have the setup to trade it, there's no sense in guessing. So a slight break and new low of that downtrend right here. Move down, break new low. So might get a bounce here. This could end up as a wider trend, and that's fine too. But yeah, if we start to get a bounce, won't be as eager to short. Over on the S&P, we haven't even broken the low of this little range thing. So if we start to bounce here, I'm not going to be looking for a short. More likely to head back into that low range. Yeah, not a great setup on the S&P, even though it's probably going to drop anyway. Nasdaq, we still could get it if we get a pullback and the EMA holds. We don't want to get too close to the low though. That's the thing. We're already like just 6 points away, which is nothing on the Nasdaq. All right, so here's the bounce on the ES. I don't like it for a short. I do on the Nasdaq if the EMA can hold and we get a nice 2 legs with a bearish bar. B, I don't use any sort of indicator to shade the channels on my chart. I just double click the channel and customize it however you want. And then save like a default template so that every time you draw a new channel, it's that default color. There is one move down on the NAS. Very likely to just get a new swing low here rather than give us an entry. And that's how it goes. You have to prepare in your mind that the market will not give you a setup every time you want it. I want a setup here. You know, I want a short here. But if the market doesn't give it to me, I'm not going to chase anything. I've been there, guys. It doesn't end well. If you're entering trades like, oh man, I should get in right now, it's not going to go well for you in the long run. Know what you want to see. Know what you want the market to do, and only enter if the market does that. Then it's amazing. Then you have no doubts entering. Like, do you guys ever find yourself when you're entering a trade going, oh man, I don't know if this is a good one or not, but I think I should take it. Okay, all right, yeah, I think I'll do it. If you're doing that, it means you don't know what you're looking for. Know exactly, have it pictured in your mind. Here's what the market needs to do in order for me to enter. So that when it happens, it's like, oh, there it is. Okay, I'm going. And if you're, yeah, I've been there, AOD, I've been there. And if that's the case, if your heart's beating when you enter a trade and your just palms get a little bit sweaty, it probably means you have too much size. Because you should be able to take a trade and not worry at all if it loses, because it will not negatively affect your count very much. I can take a loss and it's like, oh, no big deal. I'm not, my in count's not in danger of blowing up. I'm not worried about any of that. So yeah, if you get really nervous on a trade, one, it's experience, but two, you're probably trading too much size down. Every trade should feel extremely comfortable. You should be able to lay back and sip your coffee while you're in a trade with no crazy emotions. Anywho, enough psychobabble. We're close to a trade. 2 legs back. 1 and 2. Just need to get a little bit higher to the EMA. Need the bar to be up there. So close. So close. Oh, sorry. Can you not see? Why the heck is it not showing? Oh, it is showing my screen. Sorry, guys. I'm losing it. There is potentially our second entry, but we are not next to the EMA. We're not on it, so I am not going to be entering this. Otherwise, it looks really good. Yeah, so there's the second entry. Pull back first entry, pull back second entry, but you can't take it when the signal bar is far away from the EMA. Not as high probability. And that's that. If it goes down without us, we'll just have to accept it. We still have the opportunity for it to come up one more time, and a bar just like this would be what I'd be looking for. But we're moving low, so anywho. Again, lots of stuff going on. Enter that Discord giveaway. The link is in the description. We got the Apex still going on for another half of a month. Make sure you take advantage of that. What else is happening? There's got to be something. It feels like a lot's going on right now. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate you hanging out with me this morning. It's been a good one. I'm switching over to the Discord. I will see many of you over there. Discord team, let's go, baby. Let's have a good rest of the day. And everyone else, consider joining. But if not, it's all good. It's all good. See you next time. Trade safe out there. Peace, everybody.